Right, let's get right into it, mate. Today's show is absolutely bursting towel with drama straight out of paradise. Brendan Rodgers looking nailed on for a new deal at Celtic, and he's got how £10 million lined up to spend. But wait, two of his signings are already being called a waste of money. Aye, seriously. And someone's just had a pop at a Jodas for being too comfortable in the hoops. That won't go down well. Oh, and just when ye thought it couldn't get any better, Matt O'Reilly has made a painful wee confession about life after leaving Parkhead. Spoiler alert, it's not all posh coffees and Premier League glory. But the biggest shock? We're ending with a jaw-dropper. A Celtic hero who turned down Liverpool and Sir Alex Ferguson's Man United to wear the green and white. Absolute madness. So don't go anywhere. Grab a cuppa, hit like, smash subscribe, and stay with me till the end, because this last story, you're gonna want to hear it! Right, this one's got a bit of everything, so lean in, because it's not just transfer chatter, it's about the future of the gaffer himself. So, Brendan Rodgers, a man who's already done more rebuilding than half the landlords in the Gorbals, is apparently on the verge of getting tied down long-term again at Celtic Park. Stilian Petrov, club legend and walking midfield tank, reckons it's a no-brainer, said it'd be silly for the board not to sort him out with a new deal. And mate, he's not wrong. Rodgers said he'll honor his current 3-year deal, which runs into next season. But ye and I both know how football works. One sniff of an exit and some chairman in England starts waving cash around like it's monopoly money. So if we want him staying at Paradise for the long haul, it's motto now, the time to act. Petrov was full of praise, especially for the way Brendan dropped that cheeky little bomb earlier this month about wanting freshness in the squad. That wasn't just a throwaway line, that was a well-aimed message to the board. Basically, back me in the transfer market, lads, or we're gonna plateau. And you can't fault him. Domestically, he's got it handled. Even when we're not at our best, we're still miles ahead of that blue soap opera across the city. But Europe? That's where the ambition lies. That's where he wants to push. And to do that, he needs more than just squad players. He needs proper reinforcements. Which brings us to this name that keeps floating about lately. Million Manhoef from Stoke City. Winger. Dutch international, 23 years old. Got a bit of flair, got a bit of end product, 6 goals and 4 assists this season. And Stoke? They want £10 million went for him now. 4. Not bad considering they paid only 3 last summer. But here's the kicker. Other clubs are sniffing too. Burnley, Sheffield United, Club Brugge, Genk. So if we're serious, and Rodgers is getting his wish list, it might be time for the board to loosen the purse strings and move quick. And here's where I toss it over to you, mate. Do you want Brendan to stay and fully rebuild this squad for a proper European charge, even if it means Celtic spending big again this summer? Or do you think we've already hit the ceiling with him? Because the board's got a choice. Back the manager, or watch him walk. What do you reckon? Right. This one's a bit bittersweet, isn't it? Matt O'Reilly, once our midfield magician at Paradise, 27 goals, 35 assists, and a calmness on the ball that made him look like he was playing 5-a-side in the back garden. But now, life down south at Brighton. It's not quite the Premier League fairy tale he was maybe hoping for. 17 games, 1 goal, 1 assist, that's not bad, but it's not Matt O'Reilly at Celtic levels, is it? And the lad himself knows it. He's come out this week saying it straight. Brighton just aren't ruthless enough. Dropping points to the bottom 4, playing with no edge, no fight, and apparently no idea what to do when things get a bit scrappy. Sound familiar? It's like he's accidentally walked into a Rangers training session. But here's what stings the most. Matt actually admits. It's not just the team, it's him too. Missed chances. Lack of courage in the final third. That little passive dip that creeps in when it matters most. At Celtic, mate, you're not allowed to switch off. You do that in a title race up here and you're sitting on the bench watching Calmac lift another trophy without you. And honestly, you can hear it in his voice. That hunger, that frustration, that regret. Maybe. It's not a lad who's living the dream. It's a lad who knows he left a place where he was loved. And now he's trying to make himself matter in a league that'll forget you before match of the day ends. So I've got to ask you, mate, and be honest. Did Matt O'Reilly jump ship too early? And would you take him back if the call came? Or was his time at Celtic done the second he chose the Premier League pay rise over another run at immortality in paradise? Let me know what you think. Because there's plenty of green hearts out there who still miss the lad, but maybe not all of them would open the gates again. Well then, buckle up, because this one's got a bit of smoke behind it. So, after that wee disaster at McDiarmid Park, where we looked more lost than a Rangers fan in the Champions League, Brendan Rodgers gave the squad both barrels. And fair enough, mate. We've been inconsistent since the bells rang in January. It's like some of the lads thought the season ended at New Year's. But credit where it's due, Rodgers shuffled the deck against Killy, brought back in Ida, benched Cone, and what happened? Bang. 5 goals, 4 before you'd even finished your first pie. That's the kind of statement we've been needing. But here's where it gets tasty, because despite the thumping win, not everyone got away without a few bruises in the press. Hugh Keevins on Clyde Warren Super Scoreboard came out swinging and basically said, Adam Ida and Austin Trusty have been a waste of money. Aye, you heard right. The same Ida who scored the Cup final winner against the Rangers. Apparently that doesn't buy you much time up here. Keevins wasn't messing about. Said Rodgers is watching this squad and thinking, right, who's actually pulling their weight? And when you put it like that, well, you can kind of see the point. Ida was brought in to score goals. We've been bagging 5 against Killy, and he didn't get his name on the sheet. Not exactly a great CV update, is it? As for Austin Trusty, he missed the match due to becoming a dad. Congrats, by the way. But that didn't stop the knives coming out. According to Keevins, Rodgers has seen enough to decide that Trusty's not the answer at the back. And just to top it off like a dodgy VAR check, even Jota's been dragged into the firing line, accused of looking too comfortable. No urgency, no bite, just vibes. That's not what wins trebles, mate. So here's what I want to throw to you, and don't sit on the fence. Is Keevins bang on? Have Ida and Trusty actually been a waste of money? Or do they deserve more time to prove they belong at Celtic Park? Because it's looking more and more like this summer window isn't just about who's coming. It's about who's getting punted out the door. What do you think? Should Rodgers stick or twist? Right then, pull up a chair and get this down ya. Because this story is pure Celtic gold. Back in the glory days of the late 80s, when perms were big and shorts were small, there was a wee man called Joe Miller, who made one of the boldest choices you'll ever hear in Scottish football. Now imagine this. You're a hot prospect at Aberdeen, you're barely out of your teens, and Sir Alex Ferguson himself is tapping you on the shoulder, probably with the hairdryer on standby. Not only that, but Liverpool were sniffing about too. Could have gone to Anfield. Could have ended up lifting European Cups at Old Trafford. You'd think most lads would be off faster than Rangers fans after a Derby defeat. But no. Joe Miller looked at that and said, nah, I want the hoops. He chose Celtic. The lad tells the story himself. Says Fergie had a wee gentleman's agreement with Aberdeen to get first refusal. But Celtic came calling right at the death, and Miller jumped at it. Left Fergie fuming, no doubt, and I'd pay good money to have seen his face the next day. And Miller didn't just pull on the shirt and hide. Nah, he became part of our centenary Double A squad, and you know what that meant? Pressure, pride, and pure Parkhead magic. Over 150 appearances, but it was that 1989 Scottish Cup final that really carved his name in marble. Rangers defense in shambles, a throw-in we had no right to get, ball breaks, and boom. Joe Miller smashes it past Chris Woods and straight into the history books. Celtic lift the cup, and the only thing louder than the roar at Hampden was the sound of Rangers' tears splashing on the terraces. So here's what I'm asking ye. Would any player today still choose Celtic over the bright lights and big wages of England? And if they wouldn't, do they even belong in the hoops at all? Because if Joe Miller could say no to Man United and Liverpool in their pomp, surely that still means something, aye? Let me know what you think.